Hello happy souls, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. So I've got a fabulous pick a card reading for you today, but just a big shout out to all of my new subscribers and all of my loyal followers that have been with me so long as well. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for joining me today. So this is one of my favourite readings, so it can be the most triggering because we're looking at the things that you don't want to acknowledge about yourself and your situation and the connection that you're experiencing with your person. This is a very spiritually guided reading. The guidance is usually quite intense, so I'm just giving you a heads up before you begin watching this one. So we're looking at what is blocking union to your person. What are you missing? What lessons are you trying to skip around or haven't yet noticed? That, you know, things you need to process, things that you need to work on. And obviously we'll see what your person is doing as well. You know, why aren't they coming forward? What's blocking them from coming towards you? So I'm going to look at both energies. But we've got 4 piles for you today. This is the Chakra Wisdom Tarot with Lapis Lazuli. We've got the Nero Tarot with Green Opal, the Sakki Tarot with Apatite, and the Piles of Wisdom Tarot with Clear Quartz Hexagon. So take your time, douse over them if you would like to. You can look at the timestamps and choose from the numbers. That's what I do. There's no right or wrong way to choose, just whatever pile you're drawn to is correct. If you feel like you need to watch more than one, just go ahead and do that. There could be messages in both for you. And make sure you make a note in the comments of which one you've watched before, because all of my readings are timeless. So there could be other piles later down the line that are relevant to you, and you'll know which one you've watched already by referring to the comments. So let's do this. I'm going to move the other piles out of the way so that we've just got our Chakra Wisdom Tarot. We're going to be using some Oracle decks as well. I do list all the decks I use in the video description box below. Let's do this. So the Chakra Wisdom Tarot, what is blocking union with your person, pile 1? Why aren't things moving forward? And while I'm shuffling, this is literally the last chance saloon for my webinars. I think there's literally a couple of spots left on each. They're £11.11 each. We're doing 2. The first one is next Sunday. And we are looking at, first and foremost, twin flame telepathy and astral communication. What is it? How does it work? How to do it? It's a one-off class. The second one we'll be doing is how to trust your inner guidance and connect with your own intuition. So you can find both of those on my website, happysouls1111.com. Okay, let's do this. What is blocking you from union with your person? We've got the 10 of Pentacles, the Chariot, Strength in reverse, 2 of Swords, the Hierophant in reverse. Clarifying, we've got the 4 of Swords in reverse, the Star in reverse, the 4 of Pentacles in reverse, the 5 of Wands in reverse, and the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Some more blocked energies. I'm going to get some Oracle cards as well. This is the Divine Feminine and Masculine Reunited deck. Whoop. I'll keep those 2 that turned over. God of Obstruction and Goddess of Love. So one is Ganesha and the other is Hathor. And their numbers 5 and 11. And from the Personal Power deck, I'm a dreamer. I'm fearless. I'm celebrated. And from the Divine Energy Oracle, express your joy, face your shadow, reassess, reach for the stars. I think one more. Begin to explore. All right, let me just check these are all in shot. Should be. Beautiful. Okay. So pile one, what is blocking union with your person? Straight away with the Ten of Pentacles, this feels like family problems. Not family problems, but family responsibility. So this person could be married or you could be married. But there's definitely, for some of you, I mean, what's very prominent in this Ten of Pentacles is the treasure chest here. You know, this could be to do with family business. If, you know, it's not necessarily a spouse and children. For some of you, it could be that you live with family, you work with family, that there's some kind of family obstruction here or obstacle for both of you. And with the Four of Swords in reverse, it's almost inconceivable that you could be released from this situation. This came up in a reading I did the other day, and it's a very similar energy. It's a hopelessness, a feeling of hopelessness, like there's just no way that this situation, it feels like there's no way this situation can be resolved. You know, with the Star in reverse here as well, it just feels like there's no hope. And yet I feel like you, the viewer, you have this faith in the divine plan, but you don't see how this is going to work. You don't see how this is possible. The love here is so strong between you. There's a lot of passion here. It's a very sensual connection, but there are insurmountable, or what are perceived as insurmountable circumstances that are creating a massive obstruction right now. The Chariot in reverse, though, promises... Sorry, the Chariot isn't in reverse. The Chariot with the Star in reverse is all about divine intervention. It's about rolling with that divine plan. The fact that this has come up, this is a red card, it's associated with your root chakra. You know, the root chakra is where we store all of our deepest inner child wounds, all of our pain. That's where it all is. You see she's actually holding her hands down here on her root chakra. You can find your root chakra at the top of your pubic bone. And you would really do well to work on that chakra through meditation and recognise that there's deep inner child healing to do here as well. So even though this situation may seem impossible, you know, you are being guided to remember that there is a divine plan, and that all of these obstacles and challenges that you're facing have purpose. They're teaching you something. Because strength in reverse as well, and this is something that you're letting go of. I feel this is something you're both letting go of. You both have this habit of being very prideful, being very egoic when it comes to conflict and confrontation. Neither one wants to back down. Both wants to have the final word. You know, no one wants to apologise or off that olive branch first. You're both quite stubborn people. You could both be fire signs here as well, you know, with a lot of passion and that fiery energy. And this is one of the major lessons that is being presented to you, because both of you have been raised to believe that strength is in how assertive you are and how you handle yourself in confrontation and conflict. And you've probably grown up around that kind of communication and dysfunction in the family home, that you know, really high, tense, just argumentative, constantly battling in your kind of home environment, constant arguments, with no one being very good at kind of smoothing that over. It kind of just gets brushed under the carpet instead, until both people kind of mutually agree to just never mention it again. It's that kind of energy. And I feel like you're both in that, not just with one another, but in many of your relationships, many of your connections. And this is an energy that's releasing, it's moving away from both of you. So it's possible that for a really long time, you know, you were really cross with this person and you couldn't say anything, and vice versa. It was pride stopping you from communicating. But you're learning to let go of that. I feel like both of you are learning to let go of that. You're facing your shadow. There's a lot of green here as well that's in reverse, which is, of course, a heart chakra energy. And of course, that prideful energy will block your heart space, because you're not operating from love. Pride exists in ego. And so, you know, there's a lot of heart blockages here. That can also be an indication of drug consumption. Cannabis specifically blocks the heart chakra. I don't know why I'm saying that, it just felt relevant for some of you. But if you use cannabis spiritually, you need to be aware that it disables all of your natural defenses. You know, you have to have better protection and solid grounding, and it also blocks your heart chakra if you use it too frequently. It's not an ideal regular drug, you know, to use if you're in a spiritual practice. And it does feel like you, the viewer, is disconnected from your heart space. But honestly, I feel like you and your person are mirroring each other a lot. I feel like you're both disconnected from your heart space. There is a tremendous amount of I feel like it's been difficult for you two to actually keep away from one another, and that the physical relationship has been very intense, even though it's impossible to move your situation forward in a kind of committed, real fashion because of these family obstructions or obligations, or this, you know, there's some kind of drama surrounding family here that makes it impossible. As I say, that could apply to both of you or one of you, but it feels like you're kind of constantly on and off with the physical intimacy, and that's really hard. On the one hand, it feels very wrong, and it feels it's bitter. It's a bittersweet energy. Do you know what I mean? It's pleasure and pain all at once, because you obviously enjoy the experience, but it hurts them being away from them. It kind of intensifies the energies of the connection, which makes that separation feel that bit harder. There's definitely a lot of pain in both parties here in that separation. Like that's really intense, because it does just feel so hopeless, like it could never be. And we've got the 5 of Wands, the 5 of Coins, and the Hierophant in reverse, and these are all number 5s. Number 5 is the number of transition. The Hierophant can often represent authority, but in this instance, I'm really seeing this as this higher learning, these lessons that are being presented that neither one of you are actually flowing with that transformation. This is the energy of doors being open and you kind of gliding past them because you're so up in your head and disconnected from the flow of your own truth. With the 5 of Wands in reverse, it does feel like there's an impasse in your connection at the moment. Like you're not communicating, everyone's down tools, stop playing games, and communication has kind of ground to a halt. Now, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, except that the lessons that are being brought forward through those circumstances aren't being acknowledged. There is a real refusal for both parties here to acknowledge their own deeper wounds. They're facing some of these shadow aspects, particularly where pride's concerned. I feel like this is something you've both worked on, or that's been brought to, this could be something you've already talked about together. You know, how you had that similar energy in the family home to one another, of this very high conflict, very intense, argumentative kind of energy. And that's something you're both aware of, but there are other lessons here that you need to go deep for. And I'm hearing that you do meditate, that you do allow yourself to kind of open up and connect with spirit somewhat, but it's very dreamy. It's without intention, and it's very much focused on the future fantasy. There's not a lot of work going on the inner level relating to real growth and transformation. You're not going deep enough. You're just indulging your desires and, you know, manifesting your desires. But the divine is asking you to face the really deep inner child wounds that you're carrying with you. You need to reassess the direction you're moving in as well. It feels here that in letting go of your pride, letting go of all that kind of angry energy, you're letting go of a lot of other things as well. It does feel like there's a lot of endings in your life right now, like old chapters closing and new ones beginning. But I'm guessing that you can trust that. You know, this is a time to start really exploring all sides of yourself. This is about rediscovering yourself, because there's some beautiful big mission here that you've been dreaming about for a long time, something you wanted to do, an exciting project that you've kind of put off and put off. But I feel, especially with this kind of lockdown and having more time to yourself, more time to kind of focus on yourself, you know, you're going to be able to start exploring your inner world and finding answers that are going to help you move forward. So the guidance for you is definitely, you know, one of your strengths is that we've got fearless and celebrated here, and you have got, I do think you're probably a fire sign. This is like Aries energy. It feels, it's just raw, you know, it's sort of got an idea and you just charge. It's that kind of really excited, enthusiastic energy. But you're also prone to being so stuck in your head that you get caught up in that whirlwind of 3D intention and activity, and you really need to take this inwards. You need to take all of that fire inwards and start using it to explore your inner worlds, to release all of that childhood trauma, like turn your enthusiasm towards the mission, you know, the mission to heal yourself, the mission to come into union with yourself. You're so ready for this. You already know how to do it, is what I'm hearing. You've been practicing meditation, you've been getting spiritual, but it's surface level stuff. And it feels like your person, you know, they are in a very similar energy to you. I do feel like you two mirror each other enough, but you've both got some time right now. Now, I'm going to take this one over to the extended. We're going to be taking a deeper look at what's blocking your person and getting some deeper guidance in terms of how you can move this connection forward. But I really hope that was helpful for you, part one. It was a pleasure as always. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you would like to see more, hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell icon so that you get notifications when I next upload. It was lovely to see you. Thank you so much. Bye. Hello, part two. Right, let's do this. What is blocking union with your person? Why are you not together? What's happening that you're not acknowledging? What healing are you skipping over or not recognizing that needs to happen? What blockages exist in your connection, both within each of you and externally? We're going to look at it all today. Let's have a look. See, this is Nero Tarot. I do list in the description box below all of the decks I used. And whilst I'm still shuffling, last chance saloon, there are still a few places. I think there's one or two spaces on each of my webinars. They're £11.11 each. You can find all the information at happysouls1111.com. It's a one-off class teaching you about twin flame, astral communication, telepathy, all of that stuff, how it works, how to do it. And we will also be looking at how to connect with your own high guidance, which I think has got to be the most important class anyone can take. How to trust yourself, how to learn to listen to your own intuition. So you can find all of that on my website, happysouls1111.com. Right, let's do this. What is happening? Why are you not in union with your person? We've got the Five of Swords in reverse, the Page of Swords in reverse, the Three of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, the Devil in reverse, the Seven of Swords in reverse, the Knight of Swords in reverse, Judgment in reverse, Strength in reverse, Justice. And from this deck, this is the Divine Feminine and Masculine Reunited deck. We have got Grief and Anger, Goddess of Sensuality, and God of Transformation. From the Deja Drewitt Personal Power deck, I am curious, I am determined, I'm connected, trust in divine timing. And from the Divine Energy Oracle, Seek hidden treasure. Imagine solutions. Laugh at your demons. Live your life. Live your soul, not a role. And be decisive. Okay, part 2. Did I hit record? Yes, I did. I'm just checking they're all shot as well. Beautiful. Okay. Why are you not in union with your person? These are very intense energies. I feel like you two had a very passionate relationship. Very, very intense chemistry, just really passionate, but there was no honesty, there was no trust, there was no real revelation of feelings. Both parties were so afraid to be authentic and so afraid to get close, because actually there's a huge fear of conflict for both of you, an inability to know how to communicate at an authentic level. It's like that's something that you just neither one of you learned how to be emotionally authentic or honest growing up. And I feel like you, the viewer, you've had this very fiery, passionate, intense relationship with this person, but nothing was really ever spoken about. And then in it ending or separating, there's just been this such intense grief and anger. It may have taken you by surprise even, like you're thinking, and I feel like I never really got to know this person. And yet I'm in so much pain in their absence. Really intense. And it feels like everything happened and nothing happened. Like both people were feeling that intense energy, but no one was speaking about it. It was like the elephant in the room, and so much fear in both of you. I feel like it was probably a very social relationship as well, very casual, very fun. It just never really got deep enough for you to have those serious conversations. And so now it feels weird to be left with these strong emotions, to be so overwhelmed by the strength of the grief and the anger and the frustration, and having no outlet for it as well. It feels like there's no outlet. Definitely there's no communication or action with this person. This is a deep separation. We've got Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords in reverse here. These are cards of no action, no communication. And it feels like, communication didn't end on a positive note. This person may have ghosted you and you've ended up saying something shitty to them or something. These aren't positive energies. With this Five of Swords in reverse and the Seven of Swords, it feels like there was never actually a deep confrontation, but it was kind of always skirted over. But there was this intense undercurrent of betrayal, of just I don't know. It just feels. It's such a difficult energy to explain, because on the one hand it's like you think, well, this person didn't owe me anything, we had no commitment, but on the other hand what happened between you was so intense energetically that it still felt just so painful and cruel for them to disappear the way they did, to not say anything, to not face up to it, and you're left still not knowing why they left. The reality is they've got unresolved karma. We've got the devil here in reverse, clarified by justice. This person, we're going to pull some more cards for this, and we will take a deeper look in the extended as well. But this person has a deep codependence wound, which makes them intimacy avoidant. They couldn't get past this flirty, fun, casual affair with you. They couldn't face your judgment or their own. This is the kind of energy that they disappeared before you really got to know them, because they were so certain that once you really know them you wouldn't hang around. It's definitely that kind of energy. but they're also dealing with massive unresolved karma. The Seven of Pentacles, as a blockage, this feels like a weakness as far as patience is concerned. I'm feeling that you make baby steps forward, but because you're not getting dramatic progress overnight, you end up getting really frustrated and undoing all of your hard work. You drift back to that old habit of dwelling in the grief and anger. You know, you swing between being enthusiastic about trying, you know, being really determined and connected to your spiritual path and investing in it, and, you know, and then your patience wears thin and you revert, you allow yourself to go back to dwelling in that grief. You've got to trust in divine timing, and you are connected to this person astrally and telepathically. You don't need to question that. You can trust that that is. This is a number 8 card as well. It's 35. I'm going to show it to you. This is twins. You know, you're connected to them. You're connected to spirit. You know, you can trust in this connection. You're not crazy. That's how you're feeling right now. I feel like this has been really stressful for you. It may not have been that long ago that you actually met this person, and you still feel so in the dark about, you know, what's actually happened between you. Why can't I forget this person? Why does it feel so real and intense when I don't really know much about them and not much happened? It feels like that kind of energy. And I feel like you'll need to know, we've got this I'm curious, you'll need to know, you know, is just kind of all encompassing. You probably watch a lot of these readings, but if you're not speaking to them, you've had no contact, it must be very confusing, because they're all, you know, if you watch enough readings, you're going to get different messages. And without any opportunity to be able to confirm what you're hearing, it's going to be really confusing for you. So the focus right now needs to be on you, you know, and not them. I know you need to know about them, and we are going to ask a little bit more about them. But if you have been watching a lot of readings, you know, you need to learn to trust in your own guidance, so that you can filter those messages you're getting about this person through your own truth, through your own layers of discernment, so you know which messages are right for you and which aren't. But right now, really, the focus needs to be on you. You need to, all of that determination you put into thinking about them needs to be channeled into your astral connection, because you are connected to them in that way. They feel that. You're not crazy. I know you feel it, but you're not. But there's all of this beautiful treasure in transformation inside of you. This is an Empress energy, a Cyrus, but it's number 3. God of transformation. Seek hidden treasure. This is all about manifestation and creation. But, you know, right now, you've got to start, being really decisive about how you move forward on this journey. And you need to focus on you. The Laugh at Your Demons card is really interesting. You know, if you felt cursed, compromised, attacked, you know, followed around or just intruded upon by spirit, then you need to remember that fear is your biggest vulnerability. You know, you need to ground and protect yourself, and just remember that these things have no power over you unless you allow them to. And that goes for your own inner demons, your darkness, your shadows. You know, now is the time to, and it says to laugh, to find joy in your pain, because, you know, our pain is what shapes us genuinely. And, you know, we've just got to laugh anyway. You know, you've got to feel good about this. But you are being asked to be decisive and solution oriented. And this card for me, live your soul, not a role, is really important. You know, because I feel like you've been very firmly grounded in your 3D reality of knowing what your role is and being very committed and determined and hardworking as far as your role is concerned. And if you can put that same level of determination and enthusiasm and drive into your spiritual journey and stop creating obstacles for yourself, you know, you're sort of person says, well, I can't do this because of X, Y, Z, and I can't do that because of X, Y, Z. Find solutions, imagine solutions, be decisive. You know, there is always time. We make time for the things that are important to us. You've got to stop making excuses and be decisive about whether you're on this journey or not. It feels like you spend a lot of time thinking you're crazy, not having enough people to speak to about this, going around in circles looking for answers and knowing, but you're looking for answers about what's happening externally, what's happening with your person, when you need to be looking for answers within. You need to be doing your own healing. In fact, I'm just going to pull a few extra cards for you. So, I mean, we've already got this communication pattern in a child wounds, but what healing are you not acknowledging? The Emperor in reverse, the Nine of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, and the Six of Wands in reverse. I mean, the Emperor in reverse, you know, this is a very controlling energy. And the Nine of Pentacles is the power of solitude. Seven of Cups is always keeping the options open. Six of Wands is being cynical and expecting the worst. It does feel like, as a general rule of thumb, you can be quite disassociated from emotion yourself. You know, that you don't like to put all your eggs in one basket. You don't like to kind of anchor yourself anywhere. You like to try and maintain a more independent, autonomous, very fluid way of living, you know, to stay in control. But, you know, this is ego fear that's keeping you trapped. Also, the Emperor in reverse, again, it's about taking the focus off your masculine, the distorted masculine, and facing, you know, yourself, your divine feminine energy, which the Nine of Pentacles is a beautiful card. You know, that is the card of self-fulfillment and abundance. You've got to remember that you've already got everything you need. The Seven of Wands. So, you know, you are very defensive. What walls have you built that actually keep people away? Because I know you're frustrated that this person didn't speak to you about how they felt and what they wanted, but you didn't either. Yeah, you've got to remember that. There's a lot of mirroring happening here. What walls have you built that make it difficult for people to connect with you? You've got to remember that this isn't over as well. I know this, it feels like this love has moved away from you and it's never coming back, but you've got to trust it is. It's not moved away forever. This is a, you know, this is a temporary hiatus that's giving you the room and space to breathe and grow into yourself. But I hope this reading brought you some peace today. I'm going to take this to extended now and we're going to get a deeper look definitely into this devil energy and the karmic energy that's a major blockage on your person's side. And I want to get into more about your healing and this grief and kind of what's gone on between you. But I hope that helped, and I'm sending you lots of love. If you enjoyed this reading, please do hit the like button. It really helps my channel grow. Or the dislike button. Any kind of engagement is good, actually. And hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more. Hit the bell. When you double tap and hit the bell icon when you subscribe, it will make sure you get notifications when I upload something new. So I'll see you then. Lots of love, guys. Bye. Hello, Path 3. Welcome to your reading. What is blocking your union? What do you need to know about what's happening in your connection that's creating obstacles? Let's have a look-see for you. You've got the Sakki Tarot. If you're interested in what other decks I'm using today, you can find them in the description box below. So we're going to have a look at what's blocking your union with this person. Why aren't you together? What do you need to know about that? And whilst I'm shuffling, just to let you know, there literally are a couple of spaces left on my webinars and only a couple of my classes, I think. You can find all the information at www.happysouls1111.com. I'm doing classes in mediumship for beginners, tarot and oracle card reading, twin flame energy healing, and the webinars are great. They're one-off classes. They're only £11.11 each. We're doing one for twin flame, telepathy and astral communication. How does it work? How to do it? And another one, how to connect with your high guidance. There are literally only a couple of places left for the webinars, I believe. Right, let's get this show on the road. What's blocking your union? Page of Swords, Seven of Cups in reverse, Ten of Wands, Knight of Pentacles in reverse, Knight of Cups in reverse, the High Priestess in reverse, the King of Wands, Eight of Swords in reverse, the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, the Four of Cups in reverse, the Nine of Wands, the World in reverse. I'm going to get some oracle cards as well. This is the Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine Reunited deck. We've got grief and anger. This also came up in this position for part 2. We've got Kuan Yin, goddess of nurturing. And we've got Rao Moko, god of awakening. This is the Deja Drewitt personal power deck. I am wild and free. I speak highly of myself. I release what doesn't serve me. I am a dreamer. And this is the Divine Energy Oracle. Accept what is dying. Make a plan. Make no judgments. Go for your dreams. And tune out distractions. Okay, pile 3. Let's check these are all in shot. Yes, they are. So, what is blocking union with your person? I feel like your life has just been on pause waiting for this person. I feel like they probably do keep in touch with you, but it's unreliable and irregular. But, you know, when they're around, things are so magical and intensely passionate that it's very hard for you to let go of the way things are. And I feel you've been very stoic. You know, you've declined all other opportunities for love, for relationships, for dating. You've kind of taken yourself off the market for this person. The problem is you've been doing a lot of work, but they don't seem to be pulling their weight like you are. They don't seem to be investing in this connection. I do feel like from a spiritual perspective, you know, you are definitely on the healing trajectory. You know, you are definitely on that healing path. You are learning about your own divinity. You are learning to embody your own power. You're taking responsibility for your role in this journey. But I feel like the way things are between you and your person is just not sustainable, because ultimately it hurts. For the longest time you've coped with it and it's felt okay. But, you know, when pressure's applied from other areas in your life, all of a sudden it doesn't feel okay. And you're kind of stuck at the moment, not sure which direction to move in, because you don't want to sever communication completely, but you're also, you know, kind of in a stalemate situation with this person. They're not coming forward. They're not communicating anything about the future, about commitment. They're not making any offers. It feels like this person isn't even considering it, and yet you feel powerless to release them. You feel powerless to walk away. You feel powerless to give up, to give in. I feel like you've been so wonderful to this person. You've been really nurturing. You've been so supportive. You know, you've really been there for them to help them through their own bad spot. And you felt so strong and so empowered in being able to do that. But it's beginning to take its toll on you. And you're aware that you need to move on from this now. You're aware you need to release it. You're aware that you need to really be true to yourself. Because I think it's starting to dawn on you that, you know, even though you were loving them unconditionally, by not commanding any kind of reciprocal behaviours or even commanding their respect, you know, I feel like this person didn't even show up as a friend, really. They've just taken and taken and taken. And, you know, there's an important lesson for you about boundaries in that. Because even though it felt good to give love unconditionally, that was only the case so long as you had the time to top up your own tank. And in those moments where you weren't able to nurture and love yourself because life was, you know, harder than usual, you know, you would sink back into this grief and anger. And I feel like you've been in this surrender stage for a while. That, as I said, you're on that healing path. You know how to nurture and love yourself. You've been through this awakening. But it feels like there's a second awakening rumbling under the surface. It feels like, you know, you didn't believe you could feel this shit again. But you do. and you're wondering where all this pain has come from, accept what is dying. You know, you're holding yourself back now. It's you blocking you. You know what you need to do. You know you need to release this person. You need to set them free so that you can really truly focus on yourself, so that you've got more to give you. And even though you've been so deeply into this surrender stage and this healing stage, and you've been making such fabulous progress, you know, you have found yourself judging them, becoming frustrated with them, you know, getting impatient, falling out of that unconditional love flow. So it's really necessary to accept where you're at with this now, and to accept that they, you know, they now need to learn how to operate without you. They need to take all of the wisdom that you've shared, all of the lessons that you've presented, and they need to find their own way forward. And you need to continue finding your own way forward. With the High Priestess in reverse here and the World in reverse, you know, the final piece of this puzzle is to really step into your power. And I feel like you need to be free from this person to allow you to do that, because so long as they're in your zone of awareness, they hog your attention, they hog what's going on in your mind. You know, they dominate your every thought, your every move, your every instinct. And there's a need here to learn to exist and operate and discern from a level of much greater autonomy. I'm also guided to remind you that 3D separation is an illusion, and that, you know, you're very connected to this person at a spiritual level in terms of your dream state and that deep astral connection. You need to recognize, you know, that's a much nicer method of communication than this on-off, wishy-washy, in and out energy of their 3D self anyway, that doesn't serve you right now. It really is time to release what doesn't serve you. You need to let go of this person and recognize that it is coming back to you. It's not, you know, it's not a releasing them forever kind of energy. It's just a releasing them so that they can have their own awakening, you know, that they can have the space to reach their own conclusion as far as healing is concerned. It's definitely time to leave them be, to do that, so that you can do this for you. I speak highly of myself. Pardon me. I feel like this is something you've been learning to do, and you've been teaching them. And the saying here is, this has been coming up a lot lately in my readings, you learn by teaching others. And I think you need to recognize that about this connection you have to this person, all of that beautiful golden advice that you've been sharing with them was meant for you too. You know, it flowed so easily from you when you were directing it at them. And that's because it means something to both of you. But you're being asked to follow your own guidance and your own advice. And one of these things that you would have communicated is about, you know, loving yourself, wrestling back control of that inner voice. And I think you lose sight of that sometimes. You know, you're being asked to revisit all of these lessons that you've brought forward for your person, and to more deeply integrate them yourself from this new higher perspective, and to recognize that these judgments you hold about them are really mirror images of the self-judgment that exists within you. You know, it's that's your own ego wrestling with you. You know, they should do this, they should do that, they're not doing X, Y, Z. You know, you've got to turn that judgment inwards and shine a light on the shadows that exist within you. Make a plan and go for your dreams. You know, what have you been putting off? What have you been putting off because you're so distracted by the thought of this person? What have you been meaning to do for ages? You know, now is the time to invest in that. To, you know, this quarantine, this whole lockdown, if it's happening in your country, this is a real opportunity to tune out external distractions, but certainly your person, you know, so that you can focus on dealing with that grief and anger, and you can see how much more quickly it passes when you're focused on your own healing instead of trying to heal them. You know, I think you've moved long enough through this journey to recognize now that not only is it not your place to heal them, but that you can't. You know, that this person has to heal themselves just as you have to heal yourself. And you're ready to tune out from focusing on their journey, their healing, them waking up. You wanted them to heal quickly so that you could be with them. But what you're seeing now is that you need to heal yourself so that you can be with them. And it's that as you heal yourself and you begin to nurture yourself and really come into bloom, come into light, really embodying your high priestess power, your divine feminine energy, which is currently distorted, then no one's coming into union with anyone. First, you have to come into union with yourself. So tune out distractions. I'm hearing as well that you're a very creative person. This could be through the written word, through music, through art, in whichever way you express your creativity. But there's an opportunity for you to channel further guidance and wisdom through that expression of your creativity. Whether it's the case that it's going to give you that headspace to really tune into your higher self and just get into a different brainwave state and think from a higher perspective, or whether it's the case that you're actually going to bring forward information from spirit through that expression. But it feels like a really, really worthy exercise for you at the moment. And if you are locked down and you do have the time and space to, create something for yourself, just for the sake of creating is what I'm hearing, just to help you get into that mindful state, what therapists call flow state of just doing something for the sake of your joy. Just to enjoy something. You need to find what that is. It could be returning to an old hobby or an old interest, or reconnecting with, some old part of yourself. But there's definitely a need to focus here on where you're going as an individual, where your journey is actually leading you, because I feel like you've been receiving a lot of signs and synchronicities. You've been prodded, backwards and forwards. And you've been so focused on this person who's not giving and not showing up for you that you've been in this high state of anxiety and distraction, that you've ignored your own dreams. They've become secondary somehow. I'm just going to get another couple of these. I feel really guided to. So, imagine solutions. This is all about this, this planning and reach for the stars. So, you really are meant to be doing something big. And I'm hearing that you know what that is. But you've got to make space for this to happen. And that means releasing this person, releasing distractions, releasing what doesn't serve you, accept what is dying. For many of you, you may have noticed that other relationships, other circumstances in your life are coming to their natural close. Friends dropping away, jobs shifting and changing. Your circumstances changing dramatically. And this is the universe, creating space for what needs to happen. To follow those plans and those instincts, to let go and enjoy life. You really need to recognize that there is a bigger mission for you here. It's all connected to your joy, which is within you. And it feels like there's been lots of restraints as far as expressing your joy is concerned. Lots of reasons you couldn't be joyful. And it's time to tune out of them and to just recognize that joy is always in you. And your only job is to express it through whatever medium feels good and right to you. There's only one instinct you need to get connected with, and that's magnetism and resistance. Does this feel good? I'm going to do it. Does it not feel good? I'm not going to do it. And that really goes against the grain of practical living. But it feels like you might have an opportunity right now to use your time in that way. And you need to recognize that when you're actually following magnetism, even if it feels illogical or impractical, you're actually moving along with the divine plan. You're following your own truth, and you need to reflect on what your own truth is, and what's been distracting you from it for so long. What have you been stuck doing for so long because somehow it felt so hopeless or impossible to really do what you want? And now feels like that opportunity and that chance. Your person needs that time to do this for themselves too. And they're going to be on that healing path as well. But you've put your life on pause too long now, not just for them but for other things. And I feel like it's all crumbling away to give you space, and you need to take it. You need to embrace it with both hands. So I'm going to take this over to the extended reading now. We're going to take a deeper look into what's going on with your person and what else is blocking you and get some deeper guidance for you. You can find the link to that in the description box below and next to the timestamps in the comments. So thanks for tuning in, Pile 3. If you enjoyed this reading, hit the like button or the dislike button if you didn't. Any engagement's good. And if you want to see more, then hit the subscribe button, tap the bell icon when you do that so that you get notifications and know when I've uploaded. It's lovely to see you. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you next time. Bye. Hello, Pile 4. So let's have a look, see what is blocking union with your person. Why aren't you together? What's blocking them? What's blocking you? What's going down in this situation? We are going to take this over to an extended reading today. We're going to do about 15 minutes here, 15 minutes on the extended. And whilst I'm shuffling, just to let you know that my webinars and classes are almost sold out. So if you were hoping to grab a place, now is the time to do that. I'm doing 2 one-off classes or webinars, which are, the first one is Astral Communication and Telepathy between Twin Flames, how it works, how to do it. And the second one is how to connect with your high guidance and your own truth, how to listen to your own intuition. So they're both one-off classes. They're only £11.11 each. There's literally only a couple of places left for those. But my longer courses, which are 5-week courses, if you're stuck at home and wanting something to, learn and help you grow, I'm doing mediumship for beginners, how to connect with your spirit guides, tarot and oracle card reading for beginners, as well as an intermediates class. And I'm also doing twin flame energy healing. How to heal your connection, how twin flames are actually energetically connected. It's quite an interesting class. I love doing that one. So you can check all that out on my website, happysouls1111.com. But let's get your reading on the road. This is the Pearls of Wisdom Tarot. This is a first edition vintage deck and that I was very kindly donated to me by one of my viewers. Very much appreciate it. It's a beautiful deck. So let's pull some cards for you. Give them a really big shuffle. What's blocking union with your person? The King of Swords. The Queen of Swords, my goodness. You are both as headstrong and stubborn as one another. Justice in reverse. The Nine of Swords. The Ten of Cups in reverse. The Seven of Swords in reverse. The King of Pentacles in reverse. The Five of Cups. The Nine of Wands in reverse. And the Five of Swords. Wow. Painful energies. Okay, and get some oracle cards as well. This is the Divine Feminine and Masculine Reunited Oracle deck. If you're interested in what decks I'm using, you can find a list in the description box below. We have got Physical Ailment, Goddess of Wisdom, Athena, Unconditional Love, number 1. And this is a Personal Power deck. I am lovable. I am ready. I surrender. And I am happy. And from the Divine Energy Oracle, grieve your losses. Take the lead. Face your shadow. Shine your light. And reflect on your truth. Okay. tuning in. I think what's so interesting here is that we've got the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords out together. Straight away, these are counterparts. And what this is demonstrating to me is that you and your person are a very intellectual match. It could be that this is what you've connected through shared interests for a very, intellectual or academic viewpoint in life. You're interested in studying something, collecting something, something of an intellectual nature. It could be anything really, literature, but it's through knowing, politics, something or other. You're both very practical, kind of up in your head people. You're very connected to logical, rational thought processes, to evidential based stuff. And so this connection has been particularly challenging for you because it asks you to go against everything you've previously believed. I feel like you were probably someone who was atheist or, very much of the kind of line of thought, a science-based mind. I feel like for some of you, you've had a spiritual awakening as a result of an accident or some kind of something that happened to you. There's been some kind of physical ailment that has redefined how you live and how you see life. It's taken you away from this very earthly, practical way of thinking and has opened you up to, this spiritual love and wisdom that was previously inconceivable to you because it, as I said, it went against the grain of how you operated. And I feel like this has alienated you from your person. With the Seven of Swords in reverse here, they couldn't accept your truth. This awakening that you've had, this understanding that you've had, something shifted for you, whether it was an accident, a physical ailment, an illness. It could have been a physical ailment of someone else, but that impacted your life or made changes or made you see things differently. Either way, it's caused you to release this person because you needed to follow your own truth. That's how it feels. You've actually been very strong-minded. You've kind of been like, well, I'm going to be true to who I am. This person is all or nothing. I feel in that respect you've been quite unyielding. You really, they've shown a complete lack of acceptance as far as you're concerned, but in return you've said, well then, I can't accept someone that doesn't accept me. I don't accept your lack of acceptance. I don't accept your viewpoint. And, I don't accept your refusal to recognize this connection for what it is. So I'm detaching myself from it. I'm taking my own lead. I'm looking after myself. Again, this does show huge strength of character. And it feels like you've got your own karmic resolution to face as well. We've got grieve your losses here, and with this Five of Cups, this can be not always, but for some, for me, it can be the card of like alcohol dependency, and it could be that your grief, your losses are not just connected to kind of romantic losses. It could be in unhealthy codependence to certain substances or coping mechanisms. There's definitely been a catalyst, however, for this change and for this need to kind of, to heal yourself. But it does feel like you've been quite strong in cussing this person out. It does feel like you kind of decided to kind of accept and embrace this period of solitude and just reject them so that you could charge forward with your own path. But we've got the Nine of Swords here. It's been very painful for you to do that. And I feel like you're kept awake by just the thought of them, that you're so deeply connected to this person that even though you feel like you've done the right thing for you, part of you wishes you could give this connection up because it's just so very painful. You've had the strength to concentrate on you and to let this person go. But it's been very, very painful for you. It does feel like for you that there's no faith in union. You really don't see you know, that what's happened between you could be resolved. It feels like there was some kind of conflict or betrayal between you previously. You know, things didn't necessarily end on the most positive note. We have got the Seven of Swords in reverse over there as well, and I do feel like, you know, that person wasn't entirely honest with you about their familial situation or their circumstances. And so when you've pulled the plug on that connection and walked away, you know, it's that's happened with, you know, coldness and harsh words, and you've kind of been left feeling like, you know, whatever your belief system surrounding soul connections are, the circumstances feel irreparable because you refuse to demean yourself. You know, you refuse to stand down. So this is kind of, this energy feels like a double-edged sword. As I said, on the one hand, there's this enormous strength of character. There's this huge urge and desire to be, you know, to take the lead in this journey, to focus on coming to union with yourself, to focusing on your surrender, your own happiness, to loving it, accepting yourself, reflecting on your truth, shining a light, facing a shadow. It does feel like you're doing all of the right things. You are doing all of the right things, but you're also being blocked by your own refusal to accept this person. As I said, I feel like they didn't accept you and they weren't entirely honest either, but you've kind of reacted with detachment also. And yet it wasn't an error. You know, I don't think it was a mistake. I feel like you've needed to do this. You've needed this time. You've needed to focus on reconnecting with your own inner stability. That much is for sure. This has been a period of deep healing, and I'm hearing a deep healing of mother wounds as well. You know, this feels like tidying yourself up and pulling yourself together and putting yourself first and literally being bold enough to face your shadows and face what was holding you back, and to concentrate on your own, you know, growth and expansion. But it just feels like it's so painful for you, and you swing between this determination of being surrendered and loving yourself and being happy, and then being pulled back into the shadow aspects. And in part that is what healing is like. So, you know, but it does feel like you're going around in circles a little bit because there's something deeper that you're avoiding, and I think it's your feelings for this person. You don't allow unconditional love to flow. It serves you to stay angry with them because it helps you feel justified. But it feels this anger and this bitterness that you're holding on is what's causing you the pain and what's keeping you poisoned, is what I'm hearing. You know, even in their absence, you need to allow unconditional love to flow to them. Energy doesn't lie. And, you know, harbouring all of this this frustration and anger for them isn't serving you, and it, you know, you need to see how this is reflecting you. One thing I will say for both of you in that King of Swords and Queen of Swords energy is that whilst you're both very connected to your own truth, you're disconnected from your own hearts. The Divine Masculine in these circumstances was certainly disconnected from his heart space. But I feel like you've been working so hard to reconnect to yours. And you may be finding love for yourself, but you have to find it for him too. It doesn't mean you have to open the lines of communication, but, you know, a rejection of him is a rejection of yourself. And I'm guided to ask you as well to consider how many times in your past have you had to lie by omission, or not reveal the whole truth, or take a cold stance because it didn't, you know, serve your own needs in the moment to do otherwise. You know, this is what he's doing right now, and it does feel very personal and it burns, but, you know, it is something that you've done as well. You can start relating to that energy to help forgive him and release the anger and the bitterness that you're feeling for your person here. You know, you're not really in your power. I feel like the determination is there. you know, I feel like you work harder than anybody at trying to fix yourself and repair yourself. The desire is strong, but it feels like you're definitely working through so much pain and so much trauma that you struggle to hold on, you struggle to keep yourself afloat, you know, but you're right to focus on your independence and your self-fulfillment now. As I said, you're right not to be connected to this person or communicating with them right now. This definitely does need to be about you and just taking the lead in your own journey. That's really all that matters, but you can allow love for them to flow. And you've got 2 nines here, the 9 of Cups and 9 of Pentacles. You know, both of these cards are about self-fulfillment, one financially and practically, and the other emotionally. You know, you really need to be more grounded in your earthly realm and to be more open in your own heart space, to let love flow more freely. We've had the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups in reverse. There is a deep wound in you that makes you think that you will never have that happy ever after. And that was one of the reasons why it was easy for you to give up on that dream, because it was never a belief that you actually, you know, or an expectation you thought was viable before. And this is why you're so at odds with this journey. I feel like this is why you can't integrate and align with it and stay stable in your power, because, you know, on the one hand, you believe that you don't deserve that happy ever after, and you're really pissed off with him and you're not sure if you want him. But on the other hand, this journey asks you to recognize your own power and divinity, and that you can manifest what you want, and that union is your God-given right. You know, these two beliefs are at odds with one another, and so it's very confusing to the universe when you want one thing but don't believe you can have it. So there's definitely a need to look at how your own limiting beliefs, you know, about love and about happiness and about, you know, happy futures are actually limiting your ability to manifest exactly what you want. You've got to be patient. The 7 of Pentacles has come up for every pile. You know, that's about slowing down, sowing the seeds and waiting for that growth, and recognizing that it's a process. It doesn't just happen overnight or all in one go. It's not Harry Potter. We don't wave a magic wand and get the result we want, unfortunately. You know, we have to nurture the progress we're making. I really feel like, you know, when you connect with this truth of just consistency and stability, and you recognize how much those limiting beliefs, those shadow aspects of self, that, you know, those ugly voices that tell you it's never going to happen, you don't deserve happiness, or the voice of your inner unworthiness, you know, when you start tackling that, when you start recognizing the truth of how destructive that voice is, and you start facing it and unraveling it, you know, this is when you're going to start making powerful progress on this journey. It may never be as quick as you need, you know, but it's a beginning. It's a start. It's a start in the right direction. You know, it's the right new beginning. You know, you can't keep playing games with this connection anymore. In your head, you're still playing games. In your head, you're still ignoring this person. You're avoiding them. You're avoiding the thought of them. You're still angry with them. You know, it's time to let all that go and to truly surrender to what is and to the divine plan. I know you wish he wasn't your counterpart, but he is. And, you know, you've got to come out of your victim consciousness with this and stop painting him as the bad guy. You know, you really need to just let all that go and trust that everything happened in the way it was meant to, as painful as that is. You've learned so much as a result of this, and you're being asked to recognize and find reasons to be grateful, you know, for this journey, and reasons to, you know, more fully embody it. So I really hope that was helpful, powerful. I'm going to take this over to the extended reading. We're going to take a deeper look at your divine masculine and what's blocking him, and we're going to get some deeper guidance in terms of how you can move forward with this. So you can find a link to that in the description box below and next to the timestamps in the comments. So hopefully I'll see you there. If not, please do hit the like button or the down vote if you didn't like the video. Any engagement is good and helps my channel to grow. And if you did enjoy this video, please hit the subscribe button, tap the bell icon, and you will get a notification every time I upload. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye bye.